I'm Coach Mary Medley, and in today's video, we are going to talk about the physical effects that narcissistic abuse and other forms of abuse and trauma have on you. We are going to go through a whole series of physical, spiritual, and other factors that are affected just because you're going through the physical abuse. If you're new here, I'm Coach Mary Medley. I am your health accountability coach, a mental health coach who assists people to find healing and to stick on their healing journey so that they can thrive and live their best life. If you haven't followed me yet, and maybe you have watched my other videos on imposter syndrome and on this series on narcissistic abuse, please click the follow button, subscribe to our channel so that we can be able to reach more people. Share this video and the playlist if you feel it's going to help someone else. And most importantly, turn on the notification button so that you can be informed every single time we drop a new video. As we start, I want to reiterate a few things. Number one, you can heal. Any trauma, any abuse, it is possible to find your way through the healing journey or to a healing journey. And that is not easy. It is not to say that it is a walk-over thing or it is something that you can just do so easily, but you can start. If you believe in yourself and start working on yourself, it is possible. In the description, you should see a link for a clarity call. Book it and we can have a conversation on setting you on the path to healing. I want you also to know that this was never in your head. A lot of people who are going through narcissistic abuse sometimes think that it is them. It is their fault. It is there in your head. This is not really happening to you. That is not the case. Your body has carried what your soul has endured. And that is why it starts to manifest or show itself in your body through illness, through lack of concentration, excuse me, lack of focus, and other things that we are going to discuss as we go through this video. Healing begins when danger ends. As long as you are feeling like you are in danger, you will never heal because that affects your nervous system. If you find that you have been having responsory reactions to what has happened to you and to the trauma that you're going through, you need to understand that what is happening is that your body isn't betraying you, it's trying to save you. Your nervous system is affected by the trauma that you face. And this means that inflammation is going to increase or has already increased if you are actively going through this trauma, and your immune system has become destabilized. So your body needs to rebuild trust in you, and you need to rebuild trust in your intuition. And that is a process of healing and recovery from trauma. You regulate your nervous system, you reduce your inflammation, your immune system stabilizes, you rebuild trust with your body and your intuition, and you learn to listen to your body. Sometimes if you miss red flags with a person and you ignore them or you start to suspect that maybe it was all in your head, your body is going to tell you exactly what is going on because your body communicates in that way. Medication cannot heal trauma. It may manage some symptoms. Some people will go because they have developed autoimmune issues in response to the trauma that they are going through. Sometimes they tend to go to a hospital to manage those symptoms. But it is not going to stop the ongoing abuse. It is not going to calm your nervous system, which is under threat. It is not going to resolve trauma bonds. So you need a different plan of healing. Talk therapy, somatic therapy, and other forms of therapy will help you start to work towards safety, building boundaries, nervous system regulation, emotional and spiritual restoration. Something uncomfortable that many people don't talk about is that symptoms may intensify after leaving abuse. So if you had bad headaches before, this may intensify. Why? Because your body has been existing in survival mode. You have been suppressing your trauma. So now processing your trauma can be extremely painful and difficult, and sometimes people just give up. This is where people like me, accountability coaches, come in, because we help to keep you on the path, to remind you what the goal is, where you've come from, and where you intend to go, what the plan, the overall plan is for healing and thriving. Therefore, you might find yourself having intensified symptoms where you start to wonder if leaving was wrong. And at that moment, that is when the healing has begun, because you're facing what you went through. You are not escaping it. You're not running away from it. You're beginning to think clearly about every single thing that happened to you. Another thing that occurs during the start of this healing process is that you realize you're feeling disconnected from your body. You have resentment towards yourself, unforgiveness, you self blame, there's confusion about what's wrong. Maybe you've gone to several doctors and it's still not clicking to you that what has happened to you is a mental health issue more than it is anything else. So, your nervous system has replaced your intuition, and this has fragmented your identity. So when you're working towards healing yourself, this is what you're healing: your nervous system and your identity. So, what are some of the symptoms that you face when you are suppressing and hiding and keeping so much trauma and not dealing with it, or dealing with it inappropriately? Number one, there's body pain, body aches that you can't quite explain. There's fatigue, a lot of sleeping and not resting. You feel like even if you sleep for 10 hours, when you wake up, you're still tired. Some people experience numbness. You just feel numb, numb even in your feelings, numb in your hands. Sometimes you think you have restless leg syndrome, but this is part of your body responding to what the mind cannot speak. Some people develop somatic symptom disorder or functional neurological disorders. Why? According to Dr. Bessel van der Kolk's research in his seminal book, The Body Keeps the Score, The Brain, Mind, and Body in the Healing of Trauma, he explains that the body keeps the score. Eventually, it will demand to be heard. So, all these things that you have been bottling in, they appear as pain symptoms, as somatic disorders. Another way your body physically exhibits the trauma that you are undergoing is through panic attacks, hypervigilance, sleep disruption, dissociation. Panic attacks can feel like heart attacks, and medical tests often prove normal because the issue is neurological. So you're having high anxiety, you're nervous all the time, you're unsure if you're making a mistake. A narcissist tends to keep you walking on eggshells. And as long as you're walking on eggshells, you are heightened at the possibility of wronging this person. So you're avoiding them, you're running away from them. When you need to have a meeting with them, you immediately have panic attack like feelings, you have anxiety, you have stomach issues, gut issues. Those are signs of PTSD in its format. PTSD is very wide. I mean, it's not as if you have gone to war like some people, but if you have PTSD because of how a person is treating you, it doesn't invalidate it. It doesn't make it less because it's not a wartime type of PTSD. So if you're constantly having panic attacks because of a person, constantly having to be hyper vigilant, Remember when you would hear the keys at the door and you just knew they were coming? How does your body respond? When you would hear their car outside, how does your body respond? How do you react? When you would hear them talking in the boardroom, knowing that you have to go there and talk to them and face them or see them or present a report to them, how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel excited? Does it make you feel nervous? Does it make you feel fearful? How is your body responding? Once you're able to do this self-analysis, you will know and understand exactly how your body is responding to a person. So it is very important to be self-aware, and that is also part of the healing process. Learning those physical cues that are telling you there's something wrong, there's something going on here. So, did you know that because of narcissistic abuse, your brain physically alters? Your brain actually has to change as part of the physical changes that occur while you are in survival mode. Number one, your amygdala is always on alert. Your hippocampus, or the memory impairment occurs because the hippocampus is affected. You're vulnerable to gaslighting. Remember, you're hypervigilant, so you're always questioning yourself. Most of us tend to look inwardly. Am I the problem? Am I the issue? How can I resolve this? And this keeps you on a loop, ready to always defend yourself. And then at some point, ready to always find yourself as the one to blame. So you're very vulnerable to gaslighting. This actually alters your brain. It also creates brain fog. It creates self-doubt. It creates poor recall. When your brain is on survival mode, you have problems sleeping, and therefore you have problems with your memory. These go hand in hand. If you're not sleeping well, you will not have good memory and your focus will also be poor. You need to understand that this is not weakness. This is trauma adaptation. Your body and your brain is adapting to the new conditions. In an earlier video, I had said that people who swim, maybe if for competitions, or they work in water, maybe fishermen, deep sea fishermen, are not like you and me when you look at their lungs. Their lungs grow bigger because the body realizes that they need more oxygen. So the lungs grow so that they can have more oxygen. The body adapts to that conditioning. So when you, who doesn't swim often, goes to the same place to swim with this person who swims every single day, maybe several hundred meters or kilometers a day, there's a huge difference between their lungs. You have not adapted to that lack of oxygen, their body has. And that's the same thing when it comes to trauma. Your body adapts to the trauma, and your brain is not going to escape the alteration. Other parts and key systems that are affected include your digestive or gut. As I told you, that anxiety might even give you bloating, poor absorption, fatigue, IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome. Your heart, you have heart palpitations. You cannot live constantly afraid or constantly anxious. So your heart and your heartbeat raises, and you find racing heart usually also may indicate increased blood pressure, chest tightness. Your immunity then falls when you have digestive issues, when you're not sleeping properly, when your brain is altering. Automatically you start to have chronic inflammation, joint pains, autoimmune flare-ups. And usually when you go to the hospital, because you're having all of these issues, you're told that you have inflammation due to unknown causes, most likely chronic stress. And these are the general things that you will take to the hospital. You'll go and say, oh, my heart is racing, and the doctor will check your heart. You'll say, oh, I have bloating all the time, and then you will do all this DIY anti-bloating things. You're making these little drinks to try to reduce bloating, but the bloating continues because the trauma continues, because your nervous system continues to not be well. And so if you don't deal with that trauma, you will forever be dealing with other issues that are as a result of the trauma. This is why seeking therapy, seeking coaching is very important. I wish that as I was growing up, I knew about coaching, and that therapy was not made to be something so scary, or, if you seek therapy, you're sick. I think that therapy is extremely important because of helping you regulate your nervous system. Because once you regulate your nervous system, you regulate everything else. Toxic stress hormones are released when you're going through this trauma and not being able to deal with it or to heal yourself. Constant cortisol and adrenaline release causes nervous system dysregulation, hormonal imbalance, immune suppression, chronic inflammation, which leads to degenerative and autoimmune conditions. I want to talk to the women especially. This unfortunately affects women more. I'm not saying it doesn't affect the men, but it affects women more. A study has shown that women are the ones who develop autoimmune illnesses more than men. So any autoimmune illnesses usually have a higher percentage of women. Why? Because we bottle things up to keep things together. We are the ones who just swallow it, accept it. We don't fight it. We try not to argue. We take it, bottle it up, and then it shows up in our bodies. And this is why women have to be more self-aware and have to be able to stand up for themselves much more. If you know what chronic survival mode is, it is your body in constant fight or flight. Danger is unpredictable and relational. So, a narcissist who is in your life constantly is someone you have a relationship with. Not necessarily romantic, it could be your boss. Your relationship is employee-employer relationship. So when you go to work, you see this person. When you need your salary, you see this person. When you need an appraisal, you see this person. So it doesn't have to just be a husband, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a wife, a partner. It could be a business partner. Someone who you have invested so much financially, it would ruin you to leave them or to break up with them. So you feel stuck. And so you're in chronic survival mode because of this person. And because of that relational, that closeness, that is why your body starts to adapt to this trauma. Because your body is not designed to run from a predator that lives in your home or in your proximity or in your job or in your house. That is not how your body is designed to be. But you find yourself that you are living with your predator and they are killing you physically, slowly but surely. In conclusion, I think we can agree on this core truth. Narcissistic abuse reshapes the nervous system, brain, and body. It fractures your feelings of safety, your identity, and your spiritual grounding. The body does not break, it adapts to survive an unsafe environment. If any of the symptoms that I've mentioned to you can be linked to narcissistic abuse and you feel that this video was helpful, I would love to hear your opinion in the comments. And I would love for you to also watch my other videos on this series and on this topic. Do you have any suggestion of something you would like me to discuss when it comes to narcissistic abuse? Please share in the comments as well. Remember to click the follow button, the like button, the subscribe button. I'm Coach Mary Medley on all social media, and I'll be so happy to interact with you. Check out my program as well. And if you're interested and you found that video to be interesting, I believe YouTube is going to tell you that this video is also interesting.